That was a lovely introduction. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. This is a beautiful event. This is so lovely. And I feel so privileged to be here, and I'm so filled with gratitude. Many thanks to my family, my colleagues, my dear friends who are endlessly supportive of me, most particularly my parents, Tana and Jack, my husband, friend, and colleague at Acalanes, Edmian. He is my husband. And my true teacher, William, who's my son. He's 4 years old, so he's not here tonight. But he is my true teacher. And many thanks, of course, to the Eukel Trust, specifically to David, Ed, and Peggy, and Judy, who I've got to know through this process. You're truly generous, kind people. And this award is such an honor. Many thanks to my dear students, especially Anna Hirsch, who I know wrote that first lovely quote about our class. And my students who over the last 14 years have honored me with their presence in my classroom. So speaking of gratitude and thanks, when I think of what I'm most thankful in my life for, my students are at the top of my list. The profession of teaching, I think, is misnamed. It should be called learning. For me, being a teacher is being a learner, which is great, because I'm a giant nerd who loves to learn. Every year I get to learn new things, learn new people, learn new ideas that challenge and change my perspective of the world. As I've been reflecting through this awards process and for this speech, I've noticed that one novel has been a constant through all of my years of teaching. One would think that being an English teacher, teaching the same books every year, you kind of get comfortable with them and they're expected and you know what to say. Not so, especially with this book. I've taught Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird to at least one class every year that I've been a teacher. And it teaches me something new every year. This book, like the class full of freshmen I teach it to, really keeps me on my toes. This year, like every year, we read the last chapter out loud. There's our heroine, Scout Finch, and she's standing on the porch of Boo Radley, who, was previously a malevolent phantom, and then he turns out to be a savior, and everybody's all happy at the end. So Scout's taken us through 234 pages and a whole lot of growing up, and she's standing on that porch, and she's seeing things, really seeing them from Boo Radley's perspective. That slow Southern prose, and that nostalgic, kind of bordering on cheesy dialogue, it really gets me every time. I don't know why, but this year, unlike every year, after we finished the last chapter, one of my students looked up from her book and said, "Hey, Scout's doing what her dad taught her. Turn to page 30, everyone." So the class murmured and busily turned their pages. And the student reminded us that Atticus tells Scout on page 30, you never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around. And that's exactly what Scout's doing in this scene in the book. She's seeing the entirety of the novel from someone else's perspective, and she's learned what a powerful skill this is. Then I watched my students lead a discussion on empathy and compassion, on learning from and through their parents' examples, and how important it is to try to see something from someone else's point of view. I sat back, I listened, I learned. Because that's really what teaching is. It's standing on the porch of our students' minds and seeing things from their points of view. It's seeing things from fresh new perspectives outside of ourselves, every year, every day, every period. I finally got it. That's why I'm so moved by those last few pages of To Kill a Mockingbird, by that action, that thing that Scout does. Not because To Kill a Mockingbird is great American literature, not because Atticus Finch should be president, 2016, not because Scout finally understands what her father aims to teach her, but because that's what we as teachers are privileged to do in our classrooms. As a part of our jobs, we get to see things from a young perspective. It is both a joy and a challenge to stand in front of a new crop of students and ponder the myriad porches on which we'll be standing for the year. Sometimes the porches we must see from are shallow, shadowed, dilapidated with sadness, chipping with disappointment. And we learn just how lucky we are and just how much we need each other. Sometimes we're not allowed on the porch for a very, very long time. Sometimes not at all. Sometimes, when we are especially fortunate, like I was last year with my honors class, the porches are inviting, exploding with light, green with new spring, and we want to sit there forever and learn. However, just as To Kill a Mockingbird ends with Scout stepping off Boo Radley's porch, just as the novel ends with happiness tinged with loss, so does every teaching year. As students move on, we as teachers step off the porches of our students and make room for new people who we hope will be able to see things from their point of view. As we step away from them, we hope that at least one lesson, at least one memory, will be carried with them as they expand, remodel, develop. A special thank you to my honors students. They are in my hearts tonight. They nominated me for this honor. They were truly a spectacular group of students. In fact, I'm not sure if I can remember a more dedicated, intelligent, downright hilarious class. I'll be taking them all out for dinner as a part of my prize money. They're really looking forward to it. Thank you, of course, to the Eukel Trust for honoring more than just test scores with this award. Thank you for honoring what teaching is about. To me, at least, teaching is about empathy and compassion, hard work and gratitude. And for allowing, thank you for allowing me to represent the many teachers, many of whom are in this room tonight, right now, who stand on the porches every year and learn. Thank you. Have a lovely night.